So, was making this decision was easy for you? Building your own company, any challenges or hurdles did you face? Ever felt like giving up?
So many times. So initially, when I started, I remember because I am not only a first generation lawyer, but the first person to do start any kind of a business or a venture in my family. So I come from a totally salaried class family. So when I decided to take the plunge, my family was a little hesitant that because they had never really seen anyone in the family take this kind of step before. So yeah, that was a little scary thing to do. But this was something I really wanted to do because I was passionate about doing diverse, kind of work. And I really wanted to give it a shot.
Hello everyone, I am Surbhi, the founder of LegalWiki, your go-to source for legal education and inspiration. Here we engage with the top professionals across the legal industry to bring you valuable insights. So, I welcome everyone to the 20th episode of our podcast series. Today we have a special guest who is passionate about helping startups and entrepreneurs to navigate the complex legal landscape and achieve their business goals. So, she is none other than Ms. Soumya Shekhar, founder of Remote Lawyer, a law firm that provides a full range of legal service in purely virtual manner. Soumya has a decade of legal experience and is an expert of corporate and commercial laws, fintech-related laws, contract drafting, and legal content creation. She also holds a master degree in corporate and financial services law from National University of Singapore. Soumya's vision is to offer innovative and diverse legal solutions that are accessible, affordable, and efficient. Now, coming to today's podcast. The focus of this podcast is to understand one's startup journey with the hope of inspiring you and making even a 1% positive impact in your life through this episode. A warm welcome to you, Soumya. How have you been?
Thank you, Survi. Thank you for giving such a great introduction and having me on the show. I have been fine and looking forward to having this conversation.
Great. I'm also excited to have this conversation with you today. Looking forward to knowing everything about Remote Lawyer and your journey as well. Okay, let's get started. So, Soumya, I was going through your profile and have seen that you have worked with various top tier law firms like Luthra and Luthra, Trilegal, and in this law, and even companies like Wipro, right? And like I'm sure you might be knowing that it's the dream law firms and companies where all the law students and professionals aspire to work. So, what made you to decide to take these steps, like leaving your lucrative job to start your own virtual law firm?
So, firstly, I think one of the reasons why I chose to leave organized employment and come into a totally new field was the opportunity it afforded me to handle diverse matters. So, while I was working at law firms and as an in-house counsel, it was a very niche field. So, in Luthra, I was an employment lawyer. In Trilegal, also, I was an employment lawyer. In Wipro, I was an in-house counsel. But now, what I do is really different from everything else I've done before. And above everything, the thrills of growing a business from scratch is something that really excites me.
Right, correct.
So I think, yeah, that was the driving force behind it.
And so when did you like actually decide to take this a step of like leave the law firms and company and start your own?
It was around 2018, and I think I was already around 6, 7 years of experience by then. And it was actually a very funny anecdote. I remember I was working from home one day, and while working, I just thought it would be interesting if I could actually land clients on my own. And that was a very interesting thought, thinking of building a business from scratch.
Oh, nice.
And then I actually started building a personal brand on LinkedIn. And gradually, I figured out that I will be able to get clients on my own. And that's when I decided to take a plunge and I quit my job at Wipro. I was an associate corporate counsel there. So I quit my job and then I took a full-fledged plunge into the entrepreneurial world.
That's great. It's really inspiring. Okay, so let's talk about now remote lawyer. So what services do you offer and who are your clients? So could you give us an overview of the process from like initial client engagement to service delivery? So from A to Z, we would love to know everything and in a simple terms, sir.
Sure, sure. So, firstly, Remote Law is a purely virtual law firm. And so, what I have figured out in my years working with various law firms and companies, etc., is that legal services can be delivered in a very simple and convenient manner through, like, I can just deliver the solutions in someone's inbox. And there shouldn't be any geographical limits or boundaries to legal solutions. So, that's what basically catapulted me into starting a purely virtual law firm. Then, remote lawyer basically offers corporate and commercial legal services. So, except for litigation, there's everything else we provide. So, be it your commercial contracts drafting, legal advisory, M&A services, due diligence, notice drafting, everything, so basically anything and everything to do with corporate and commercial laws. And we also provide fractional GC services, wherein a company or mostly early stage startups, they are not able to afford full-time in-house legal teams or in-house lawyers. So we provide a fractional GC kind of a service where they outsource their
Can
legal
you
operations.
elaborate on this GC service?
Sure, sure. Fractional General Counsel. So that is basically, so it's sort of an outsourced legal service where the early stage startup is going to outsource their legal services to remote lawyer. And we handle all day-to-day contracts drafting, reviewing, negotiation, all kinds of activities for them. So that's also something that we provide. Again, as I said, it's very convenient to have a geographical agnostic kind of a work environment where I sitting in Hyderabad can provide services to someone sitting in Delhi, Bombay, or Bangalore. And I like in my experience, I have noticed that even the startups really prefer this kind of an arrangement where they don't have to actually spend big bucks on hiring an entire team, and they can outsource their activities to firm like a remote lawyer. Apart from that, as you said, you wanted to understand the entire process from client engagement to how the solutions are delivered. So typically, when I started initially, I think clients came mostly through LinkedIn or through my social media promotions, etc. But once the clients started building up, a lot of word of mouth also got spread. So I'm I get clients through referrals, obviously through LinkedIn and social media promotions, through my own network, etc. So there's basically a bunch of sources from where the clients come. So when we onboard clients, we typically sign an engagement letter. The commercial model depends upon we either offer hourly rates or we offer retainers or fixed cost projects, depending upon the kind of services required. And post that, we have a fixed timeline. We adhere to that particular timeline, and it basically flows in a virtual manner. Post that.
That's great. So do you have a team or you're working alone right now?
I have a small team. I
Okay,
mean, it's not a very big law firm right now. It's a very lean team. But yeah, we're looking to expand.
that's great. So with all this interaction like virtually, trust matters a lot. So how you're building a trust with your clients?
I think trust comes into picture from the quality of work that is delivered. So while I mean, it's actually funny, but a lot of my clients haven't seen my face till now, and that's actually really funny because it's just I mean I think I'm sticking to the name remote lawyer, where I'm this lawyer who actually delivers services into their inbox without ever physically meeting them. So, but yeah, I mean I think it's the quality of work that one does really builds trust. So I have seen clients who came to me once coming back to me again. Also, clients often spread word, a lot of my clients, bring on other clients to me. So I think that that's the way to build trust, even if you're not physically present or physically meeting the client.
Correct, correct. So, there is one notion actually, like many companies or organizations, they don't believe in a hybrid or work from home model kind of a thing, right? But when it comes to employees, they're more comfortable, like they do have like some sort of a work-life balance with this. So what's your thought on this? Because you have worked in a both ways, right?
I think it depends. Again, I feel if an employee has the right spirit and commitment to work, then work from anywhere is going to be fine. One of the reasons why companies do not encourage work from home is because they don't think the employee is going to deliver the work within the timelines. As long as that particular thing is taken care of, I do not think work from office or work from home matters. What matters at the end is the work needs to get so that is why, for me, I think, both the settings are equally, basically you can deliver work in both the settings. The one thing I miss about working from office is the fact that you get to interact with people.
Correct.
That is something I think is missing because, yeah, I mean, if you're sitting in a room or in an office in your home and working 24/7 without interacting with anyone, it does get a little lonely sometimes.
Correct, correct. Like I have one more question for this. Like getting the client on board is one of the hardest steps for new business, as you mentioned, like different ways, like how you get the client. So how did you manage to get your first client? What was the starting point?
So my first client I landed was through LinkedIn. I used to keep basically going through LinkedIn looking for leads. And I remember someone had posted a lead, like, basically they were looking for a lawyer. So I just decided to try my luck and I messaged them on LinkedIn. And then we connected over a call and like, I basically was able to convert it. So before that, I didn't think cold calls or like, messaging someone like this could actually lead to a client conversion. But yeah, I think yeah, that's how I landed my first client. And I've actually landed multiple clients that ways now.
That's great. So, like cold emails or message, they are now like game changer sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving further, it is well said that everything seems easy, but in reality, it is not. A lot of hard work, consistency, perseverance are required to succeed, right? So, was making this decision was easy for you? Building your own company, any challenges or hurdles did you face? Ever felt like giving up?
So many times. So initially, when I started, like I remember because I am not only a first generation lawyer, but the first person to do start any kind of a business or a venture in my family. So I come from a totally salaried class family. So when I decided to take the plunge, my family was a little hesitant that like because they had never really seen anyone in the family take this kind of step before. So yeah, that was a little scary thing to do. But this was something I really wanted to do because I was passionate about doing diverse, like, kind of work. And I really wanted to give it a shot. Really wanted to do because I was passionate about doing diverse, like, kind of work. And I really wanted to give it a shot. So, yeah, I mean, one of the major challenges I faced initially was to stay afloat. Because obviously, in the first 1 or 2 years, my brand hadn't developed that much. People didn't know who Soumya Shekhar was. Once they started knowing who I was, I think it became easier. And as I said, if you onboard two clients, those two clients are going to bring further two clients. So, like, but landing the first two clients is the most difficult part of it. So that was a challenge. Apart from that, as you said, yes, I did feel like giving up multiple times. I mean, I remember if for 3, 4 months I didn't land a new client, I would get very scared and I would be like, maybe I should give up and look for a job. So, yeah, I mean, things like that did happen. But then I think it was the love for the work that kept me going. I mean, the moment I feel about leaving this and doing something else, I do not feel motivated enough. And that is why I think I stuck to this. And yeah, another challenge in building the venture, I think, is the resource crunch sometimes I feel. I have a feeling that the students these days are not like, trained in a practical manner. And that's why landing the right resource who is the right fit for the organization proves to be quite burdensome.
So, do you even face challenges while hiring people?
Yeah, I do. So it becomes a little difficult because, like, a lot of times maybe, like, I'm not finding the right fit for the organization. So, yeah, and because as I said, like, the education, like, as a whole, it tailors more on the academic side than on the practical side.
Practical
And
aspect.
that's why it becomes a little difficult because then, you don't really get the kind of resources you want.
So, when you like felt like giving up, what keeps you motivated and how you keep yourself motivated?
As I said, I think the love for the work. I mean, like, every time I would be reviewing or drafting a contract or like, maybe doing legal research to advise someone or drafting an opinion, it like I feel really happy doing it.
Great.
And if I was doing it for another organization or an employer, it would be under certain like, parameters. Here
Hmm.
I'm free to choose the way I work. And I think that is something that like really matters. I realized that I learned a lot in the past 4 5 years in which I have been working on my own, more than like what I learned when I was actually working in organizations.
Great. Right now I can relate each and every words of yours with me. Okay. So, moving on, I'm sure like there are a lot of law students and professionals struggling with their career, and due to various factors, they're even frustrated with their job. And They want to start something of their own. The young generation, the Gen Z category, like they're even keen in starting their own company from a very early age, instead of working for someone else. And I'm sure they believe in this concept of that they don't want to be a corporate slave. And nowadays, if you are looking to the news, you might have also come across some kind of this news which is ongoing, that how they have taken the leave from their employer and everything. So, what should be the like guiding principles or mantra that someone needs to follow if they want to start their own company?
I think to start with, one should start building a personal brand. I mean, given that if you are an individual who wants to start on their own without any family backing or, like, basically nothing inside, only your skills, I think the first thing should be to build a personal brand. You can build a personal brand by being active in social media. Another thing is to build up your skills. If you want to, for example, like, maybe launch in a cryptocurrency field or launch a startup maybe in the AI law field, just try reading up on that and, like, developing your skills in that. Figure out what are the kinds of, like, work that goes around in that particular area, and then you try to build up your skills accordingly. And then you promote yourself in social media, like, basically trying to tell people that you know about this stuff, and that really helps. And once you have a base, then maybe one can quit and they can start with, like, start a client building process. So yeah, I think that that should be a good starting point.
That's great. So now coming to the last part of our podcast, this is something which I was starting from this podcast. So this will be a rapid fire round with you. I will be asking you 5 questions to know more about you. So should I start?
Sure.
Okay. So
Yeah, yeah, sure.
here goes the first question. Book or podcast?
Book.
Book. Any book you would like to recommend?
All books of Milan Kundera. He's my favorite author.
That's great. Second question. Work from home or office setup?
Work from home.
Okay. Third question. If not a lawyer, what would you have been?
Journalist, most probably.
Okay. Fourth question. One legal skill that every lawyer should master.
I think research, legal research.
Okay. Now, the fifth question. A lawyer that you look up to.
It used to be Soumya Shekhar Sundaresan. He is no longer a lawyer, now he's become a judge. But yeah,
Oh, great. So that's it. It was a great rapid fire round with you. Loved it. Now moving forward, so here we have come to the end of our session. Thank you once again for sharing your journey of yours and like this wonderful experience with us. It was my pleasure to have a conversation with you and understand how a startup company works. I hope the insights which you have given will benefit our viewers. So, and those who are watching, thank you so much for watching this. Please like, share, and subscribe. And also feel free to leave a comment if you have any question about this topic. Thank you, Soumya.
thank you.
Thank you.